BPOM Regulation Number 4 of 2026 supersedes the 2022 framework, mandating a systemic transition from passive safety reporting to continuous quality management. Marketing authorization holders have exactly 12 months to rebuild their entire post-market data architecture to meet these new requirements. This regulation embeds pharmacovigilance as a mandatory quality management system within the company's core corporate infrastructure. We are going to deconstruct the safety architecture from first principles, beginning with the specific organizational hierarchy required to operate it. Under these rules, failing to maintain this system triggers immediate regulatory action, including the potential for total market authorization suspension. The regulation requires the Pharmacovigilance Unit to be a completely independent entity, structurally separated from all commercial departments. This unit is led by a qualified person residing in Indonesia. They have direct access to all safety data, bypassing standard hierarchy. This entire organizational blueprint is documented in the Ringkasing System Pharmacovigilance, or the PV System master file. This master file must be submitted to BPOM every 2 years, or within 1 month if any significant systemic change occurs. The master file acts as a strictly auditable corporate ledger, allowing BPOM to inspect the company's internal safety mechanisms at any time. For new drugs or significant variations, pharmacovigilance begins before launch. A risk management plan, or PMR, must be prepared alongside the registration dossier. This plan is built on 3 pillars. The first is the safety specification, categorizing risks into identified, potential, and missing information. The second pillar is the pharmacovigilance plan, which outlines the specific studies and methods the company will use to characterize those risks after the drug reaches the public. The final pillar is the risk minimization plan, detailing everything from routine label warnings to additional measures like restricted distribution or patient registries. The PMR serves as a predictive engine, legally binding the manufacturer to carry out specific surveillance activities the moment the product is marketed. Once a product is in use, the data pipelines activate. The baseline is passive surveillance, which ingests spontaneous reports from pharmacies and clinics. Passive surveillance captures routine data on adverse events and side effects reported voluntarily by health professionals and patients. However, high-risk products require active surveillance. This is a mandatory, structured process of proactively harvesting clinical safety data rather than waiting for reports to arrive. BPOM recognizes 3 specific active methodologies: site-based monitoring, drug-based registries, and event-based longitudinal cohorts. Site-based monitoring uses controlled environments, like this isolation room, to capture highly specific institutional data that spontaneous reporting often misses. This active approach provides the denominator data needed to calculate actual risk incidents, allowing the company to measure exactly how often a side effect occurs across the total treated population. Data passes through a strict temporal matrix. Fatal immunization events mandate a 24-hour red zone response. Other serious adverse events fall into the yellow zone. Finally, the gray zone handles unexpected, non-serious anomalies, requiring submission within 90 days. Beyond simple reporting, the unit must perform continuous signal management, evaluating whether isolated reports indicate a new systemic risk to the public. If a new risk is validated as an emerging safety issue, the regulation mandates that it must be reported to BPOM within exactly 3 days. This matrix requires data processing systems capable of validating and triaging safety information at high speeds, as any delay constitutes a regulatory breach. The independent organizational structure, the PMR, and the dual data pipelines all function together as a single continuous machine for safety monitoring. This machine continuously monitors the Indonesian market, analyzing every drug interaction across the entire population. BPOM uses this data to drive a regulatory feedback loop. Based on these findings, the agency may mandate label changes, require new safety studies, or impose prescribing restrictions. If real-world evidence shows that a drug's risks have eclipsed its benefits, BPOM will move to suspend or revoke the product's registration entirely. Under Regulation 4 of 2026, this continuous operational engine is the legal requirement that justifies a drug's ongoing presence on the market.